The State Energy and Environmental Impact Center was formed in 2017 to work with state attorneys general who are defending and promoting clean energy, climate, and environmental laws and policies. State attorneys general typically get involved in some of the most difficult and challenging environmental and health crises that face their constituents. And while the legal system is attuned to addressing more routine health or environmental damage issues, when it comes to major crises, the legal system has a hard time resolving those issues. The Health and Environmental Settlements Project looks back at many of those challenges to draw lessons that will be useful to state attorneys general, to judges, to advocates, to the interested public as we hit the next round of health and environmental challenges that are in our future. We decided to go all in and prepare a book on this subject, looking back to move forward. Resolving Health and Environmental Crises is composed of 7 case studies that take a deep dive into specific health and environmental crises. And then there's a synthesis chapter that looks at cross-cutting lessons that come out of those 7 case studies. The synthesis chapter in the book identifies 4 major takeaways. The first major takeaway is that there does not have to be one mega settlement where all the parties come together and resolve all aspects of a crisis in order for that crisis to be addressed adequately. In the first major lawsuit against the tobacco companies, which the state attorneys general won, the focus was on stopping the epidemic that was then occurring of smoking. The resolution of that important issue set the stage for later successful regulatory action by the federal government. Plus, it set up the raw material that was used by plaintiffs' lawyers to collect damages on behalf of their clients who had been damaged by the industry. The second major takeaway is that there are no shortcuts when it comes to addressing the major issues in a settlement. Responsible parties must be held accountable. The offending conduct needs to be stopped. Victims need to be compensated, and damaged resources need to be restored. Sometimes it's not hard to know which companies are accountable. More challenging are situations where you have multiple companies with responsibility. And there, the law has continued to evolve with market share liability, with more product-based liability, and in certain cases, and Superfund is a terrific example of this, Congress has stepped in and explicitly identified the parties that are corporately responsible for cleaning up those sites. With regard to the restoration of resources, that's really a very important, relatively recent development where there are environmental insults. The law tries to find a way to have responsible parties compensate and restore for those damages. The third major takeaway is that public involvement and visibility into how these major issues are resolved is extremely important. For the BP oil spill, it was important that the public had an opportunity to comment on the consent decree. Similarly, the Superfund resolution got off to a rocky start. Congress stepped in and added some transparency into the process so the public could have more confidence that the Superfund cleanups were proceeding in a fair and equitable way. The fourth major takeaway deals with the logistical challenges of handling what can be tens of thousands of individual claims. These cases provide different points of view on how that process can be managed. We are finding that courts are getting better at using the multi-district litigation process to consolidate and bring together those claims. And when overseen by experienced judges, there's an opportunity for much quicker and good resolutions to these crises. You will not find anywhere else a deep dive into these 7 seminal health and environmental crises, explained in clear language with clear takeaways and lessons that we need to take into account as our country faces the next wave of health and environmental crises that are sure to come.